Ocean on the Rocks. Coming back to you guys with another one. Recognizing the Game, episode 40. Semen Retention and the God Concept, part 8. Black Flag. Yatu Sabes, you know what it is. What I wanted to talk about in this video is understanding the God concept. As people transition to stepping away from religious thinking and dogma and doctrine, they go towards the understanding that they themselves are God. And this can be seen in various spiritual communities and the so-called conscious community. I don't post videos to attack, but to put things into perspective and to give understanding. Because one of the things that the church does is that they create an image of the creator and give it the label as God. And it is depicted as an entity outside of you. Rarely do they reinforce the understanding that God is inside of you and within you. Rarely do they do that. And so for that reason, people, as they go more towards the spiritual aspect that spirituality is within, when they step away from religious thinking and start to see themselves as God, they realize that more of the responsibility is on themselves, that they've stepped away from religious thinking and they listen and go more towards their inner being and who they are as an individual. So what does that mean? If you're going to profess that you are God, which is something that I do not do, I have a different perspective or I have a different understanding, and I do not identify with the God concept, but I can see the different perspectives of it. But if you're going to profess that you are a God, there's a certain level of responsibility that comes with that. You realize that more of the responsibility is on you and nothing outside of you sitting in the sky. It is just sitting there doing certain things and manipulating the cosmos and individuals' reality. What's manifesting before you on your life journey is because of your soul path and what your soul is trying to get you to see or to free yourself from, to break the cycle of reincarnation. To understand the concept of reincarnation, and tribal people understand the concept of reincarnation because they understand the soul and the different planes of existence that inhabit the non-physical world. And that the soul is an energy that is inhabiting a physical body in order to navigate the earth plane, because the earth is a plane of existence. So with you understanding that you are to be in alignment with your soul and accomplish a soul mission, that could not have been decided by one being, but a group of beings. Not just one being, but a group of beings. And you agreed to that soul contract and you came down to earth to fulfill that, to accomplish that. And if you do not fulfill that mission in this lifetime, then you will have to fulfill it, or you have to fulfill that and reincarnate again. So with semen retention, you're taking ownership of your life. You're taking ownership of who you are. You decided your fate. You're determining that because you understand that you have a soul mission and a soul responsibility for yourself. And in fulfilling that soul responsibility to yourself and choosing to reach a higher state of consciousness, you on your own individual path, you are actually aiding in the evolution and progression of humanity when you decide to do that. And this statement is directed towards or directed to those individuals who will be on social media and they're just like, I am God and this and that. You got to realize that when you say I am God, you are still talking from your ego and you're still speaking from a lower state of understanding. Now, these are individuals who say that on social media. They're still coming from the standpoint of their lower self when they say certain things, because then they start to use this terminology because it's popular. Because if you're going to sit here and claim that, you have to be ruling and regulating your own self, not somebody outside of you. You have to go within. But if you do not have any control of your own sexual energy, relate to your emotions and strive to understand them and work towards that, then you can never call yourself a God. And we have to understand that gods have always been beings. They have always been given human characteristics. But when you go outside and look at nature, nature is not a human. Nature is not a human being. Nature is a living entity within itself that goes beyond the human mind and the human imagination. So with semen retention, you're trying to understand your own nature, your non-physical self, Though the physical self comes from nature, it is created from many different aspects of nature, the different forces and elements. Certain forces such as air, fire, water, earth, and spirit to create your physical being. So you're wanting to get in tune with the energy and forces within you through semen retention to regulate your own energy, to control your own energy. And through mastering, going through that process of working with your sexual energy and learning how to work with it, integrate it, and be one with it, that is that sense of control that you're trying to achieve. So through that, you're getting back in tune with your nature, back in tune with your higher self, your whole self, your complete self. Now, understanding that the higher self and lower self are just different frames of being. They are part of the balance with self. So you cannot sit there and call yourself a God and you don't have any type of self-control or understanding of who you are from within. You're at the whim of everybody's energy. Everybody dictates what you're doing. Everybody tells you what to do. And I have a problem with people on social media who get caught up in this pop culture consciousness. It's pop culture consciousness because now that you've got certain celebrities and stars that are speaking this, now it's valid. Oh, now it's something that should be taken into consideration because we've idolized these figures and now they're speaking on it. And there's so many pastors that I've seen that don't even really go off of the scriptures, and they'll be going off of what is said in popular culture, and they'll take the spiritual understandings and hide them behind religion to influence their congregation and the masses. Spirit work and energetic manipulation is done all throughout society and on many different levels. That's the thing. A lot of people on social media, they're just social media conscious. They just post memes all day. They don't really do any authentic research. They just read memes and watch YouTube videos. You have to study many different areas because there's levels to this, just like there's different levels of existence. So with semen retention, as you go back into your energy, you will start to realize what is really false. And you're striving to understand human civilization and where we have been beyond what the History Channel is telling you or what you may see on social media, on social networks and things of that nature. So with semen retention, you're seeking to rule over yourself, your autonomy, your sovereignty. I coined the term spiritual autonomy, and I will talk about this in my next video, but nobody has the right to come and tell you that you're a sinner and that you came into this world as a baby, that you have to pay for the mistakes based off of religion. We're talking specifically about religion. They attribute a sin to you that you didn't even have the opportunity to act on, and you're already confined to a hell at birth. No, we're not doing this shit. We have to see that there's wisdom in biblical literature, but that wisdom is not inherent to the Bible. It comes from other spiritual systems. We as human beings are millions of years old, and Christianity ain't nowhere near that old. But the beings that have been here, they are finding fossils of beings millions of years old, and they didn't have any religion. So how can you sit there and attribute the Christian religion to their existence when it didn't exist when they were there, when they were here? When they're finding fossils of people in different areas and they're older than the religion itself. So with semen retention and you going back into your original state, you will understand just how powerful we are as human beings and what we were originally created to do. So now, with this reality that we are in, choosing to do semen retention is a great act upon itself. This is something that you do for your soul and no one else. And this is what I mean by recognizing the game. Love. Salud.